Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Pirate Liberalis mod. Last time around, the war, our counterattack in the war against the Cherokee. In defense, because the Cherokee declared war on us. Although, I do see why they sort of want to declare war on us. They had a thing going for them, and why not push all the Europeans out to sea? What they forget though is a large part of their success is all the money that I sent them, and quite frankly I was able to reverse their advances quite quickly, and we will hopefully continue doing that. So last time around we were able to land quite a few forces, naval forces, and attack them, and we also sunk their navy, also sunk an Ottoman navy. They decided to provide a navy for us. However, we didn't fight the Cherokee on land more than outer assaults. That is going to change here, because we have some difficult concentrations that's not going to be resolved with outer assaults. So we have quite the large concentration here with 5 stacks in this area. I'm not counting this one, or maybe I should, because he can march across there. So 6 then. 6 stacks around this area. So I think we'll hunker down in that area. Where we can focus on actually going on the offensive is, I think we can at least get rid of this one right here. I think that's a target. However, it's not a super important target, because taking this one isn't going to open up the road to me capturing territory, which I think is what I'm going to focus on. I wish this was the capital, because then I could reach it. But this is actually the capital, so we would have to go over and fight the full stack over here. And it's a very veteran general, Matrope, if that's how you pronounce it. And then also I would try and strike towards the capital and areas in the back here, as well as retake Florida, although it is a siege battle, and then clear out some of this here. I have received reinforcements from Europe. I'm not going to click on it, because when I click on it and sort of try and go to where I want to put him, the stuttering, or lag if you want, becomes insufferable. I've never had it that bad for some reason. So I think I'll try and just cut away from that, or do it in a way where I can try and avoid it. I don't know why it's happening that bad. But I'm thinking that because of the range, I think one of the ships is able to reach the coast here, but one is only going to be able to reach round about Boston and perhaps Quebec. So I think better to send that one here to reinforce this area, so we can actually push that back. And I think we'll be mostly defensive against these to start off with, unless they spill over towards here. So it might be better to just hold on with the troops that we have in these areas, and hold on within the fort, and then have a little bit of reinforcements to come in here, and then focus on where we actually have opportunity to strike into enemy land. Because I think the way we're going to win this is being able to cut down their centers of recruitment. These two is probably the two that's going to be quite hard, or hardest to get to, because they're so far into the wilderness. This one is pretty accessible from this route, but obviously that's blocked by all the troops here. And I could perhaps send this army through here, so we do have an opportunity to get at this one, which I think is pretty good. Then of course we've landed a force right here, so Charleston's gonna fall, and most likely I'll be able to march on and take this one right after. So we'll add these 2 territories right after, and then hopefully we've got these 2 forces coming in here, and they will be heading towards the Kentucky territory and then the Cherokee territory right here. So sort of take those out, and then heading for this one right here. Soon enough, the Cherokee is going to find themselves without territory anywhere. And I think we could force a peace treaty, focus their forces somewhere, and then focus my own forces and crush them that way. I'm pretty sure the Cherokee would accept a peace treaty right now. However, I'm not really interested in peace right now, because I feel like this war is never going to stop if I don't stop them. They will continuously try and fight us. So I think we're gonna have to render the Cherokee completely inoperable, as it were. And we might as well then start here by ordering Charleston to surrender. They have 456 natives against our force of 4,500. And I'm gonna ask them to surrender. And we took that. And I have enough movement points that I can march on from Charleston and hit Savannah, Georgia. Here we have a larger force of natives. However, as I intend to do a lot for this episode, I think we'll just go ahead and out-resolve this one. Pretty high losses at 700 men. However, the good thing here is, of course, that we kill all of it. They probably would have agreed to a surrender, or sort of leaving the place. But the thing is, leaving the place would mean that the force is now out and about and burning the countryside and whatnot. I'm gonna do to them what they did to us and just burn everything. I'm burning all their structures, and I'm gonna have to rebuild it later on. So that's good. And I do actually reach here all the way to this force, which I think would make it easier if we can bind these forces, and then we can deal with Florida actually. So we'll continue on, even from Savannah, Georgia. Now here, because of the losses to my army, I might wanted to play this. However, now when I see the out-resolve is so heavily in my favor, I think we'll go ahead and out-resolve this one as well. There's very low likelihood of my troops getting destroyed in this, which is going to be a major problem if units get destroyed. So we lost 800 men, the enemy lost 700. If I'd played it, it probably would have... they all got killed anyways. Good. The good thing here is, if we're going to be able to... Is this one going to be... Yeah, he's going to get reinforcements. Because if I can bring in the howitzer... Oh, it only has one. That's a shame. Wait, why does this army have so many guns? But that howitzer is going to do a lot to fight this down. But I figure we might as well just keep them under siege and then force them to come out and meet us instead. And then we're going to march here. So originally I think I thought this guy was going to support against an attack here. But I figure they're starting to build up forces here. So I think we're better off concentrating these two forces and crossing towards the enemy's capital. I'm starting to infiltrate a number of their capital regions. I'm going to see about being able to spot a lot here. So right now we secured 2 areas, and then also this one's definitely going to fall once we get to the end turn. With that, I am going to focus up north, and I think it's time to call in the reinforcement. Because of the stuttering, I'm going to cut here a little bit, unless I'm able to avoid it somehow. Wouldn't you know it, I basically avoided it. I don't know why. The first time I started recording this episode, I was trying to move them in, And the stuttering was so bad that I basically got nowhere. So this force couldn't move as far, so I'm moving them to support here, which is probably the right thing to do. And then the second force, I think what I'll do to sort of open up my opportunities here is I can land this force right here, and then I can have the guard army move down, and we can auto-resolve this one, so we can really just focus in on the importance of the really important battles. So we'll come down, and this way I just sandwich these guys, which will go in after the... Why am I not supported by the forces from here? It's clear that I'm going to win the battle, but I'm not going to win it in the way that I'd hoped. There's certainly going to be troops left here, because for some reason these guys in the port wasn't allowed to disembark and take part in this, which is unfortunate. So I think we're just going to have to play this one. I wouldn't want to lose any troops out of the Guard army, especially since it's the Guard army, and it's going to be so hard to replace them because I can't re-recruit them here. Also, it's been a long time since we had one of the Order member unit being part of a battle. So, let's go ahead and fight the natives. And here's the setup. We've got the cannons in the center. It's basically my usual setup. And then we've got the Queen's Brigade on the left, with the Guard Brigade on the right. We've got the Iron Brigade furthest to the right. Then we've got the 1st, then 3rds, Izzy's, and actually this one's called also the 1st, MacRob's Brigade. And then the Grenadiers over here, Lindstrom on the right, the Freedom Regiment on the left. And then we got 2 squadrons of Henrik's Lions on either side. Oh yeah, we have the veterans, the Mobile Task Force, both battalions over on the right. Let's go ahead and start. The enemy decides to start quite further away, or at least the units that they are allowing us to see. I'm gonna switch to round shot. I'm hoping to use canister at the enemy. We'll see. They have no artillery, so I don't need to move, and I certainly don't need to move into their trap. Currently, the cavalry is moving to seek battle with us, seemingly, over here on the right, while the general has backed off. I'm sure... Oh, there we go. That's another cavalry unit, actually. I'll order the guns to focus on that one rather than this one. There's no risk of me shooting Henrik and his lions. Ah, here we go. Their infantry is slowly advancing towards us. Alright, Mobile Task Force fires, but it's extreme range. I'm gonna go ahead and try and surround the lancers here. You know, once you get behind the point, it's like killing rabbits. And then I'm gonna use my 2nd unit just to block the lancers. And then the guns are gonna fire on the 3rd lancer unit. So we haven't lost anyone yet, and they have lost tons. Probably not try to fire into that. There's a risk of friendly fire. Since we were able to come in from the side like that, we really destroy them. However, this one is going to be able to pull off a charge into my sides. So while I would have liked to continue to fight this one to extinction, this unit's going to have some problem now with the Lancer charge that came in. So we're going to make sure that we are are able to aid here. But we're gonna do it in the best way possible by moving around and then striking from the back so that we get rid of as many of these as possible. Meanwhile, the enemy is now... Oh, they're firing from concealed position, are they? Meanwhile, the canister just fired. Very ineffective, I must say. Oh, we fired at the cavalry. I'm gonna order these units to hold fire, and we're gonna wait. Ah, that unit was forced away. However, we were able to get that cavalry unit. Let's wheel up these units. And now order fire at will again. Horse riders, right. Actually, fire on the infantry. I feel like the infantry is going to be more of a concern. And the grenadiers need to move up to support the guns here. And then I'll put some pep in the step of the Queen's Brigade to get them up and ready. Right, the canister seems to be working somewhat. That unit was forced away. This one's... Actually, fire on this close by here. And... Oh, they're both back. Good. Right. You have to be slow and methodical when fighting the natives, because they hide so well in the tall grass, fighting on home turf like this. But I'm doing fairly well right now. The unfortunately for the enemy, they're playing right into my hands right now. Medicine men, though, they can do quite a lot of damage. Make sure that you get into position quick. But you can notice here, though, is the enemy is clearly not sending all their troops against me. So they're keeping quite a lot of troops in reserve somewhere. Because they had 2,000 or so. And we have fought these smaller groups of 138 men. So I don't know if this is a test to just try and get me to move out of canister range. But I figure now that we actually broke their first attack, we should be able to move on. And I'm gonna order the grenadiers to join in, plug the center, and we'll see about finding the rest of their army. Right, it seems as though we have found them, or at least the elite guards have found them. We're advancing through here, and we have the enemy's musketeers revealing themselves to us. I decided to bring the guns with me, as I figured we would need them up front. Right, the grenadiers opening fire. I wonder though, it might be better to order the grenadiers to bayonet charge, but we don't really know what we're dealing with yet. As it's smaller groups of enemies, I feel like we can fall in on them. Right, the general needs to go. I'm surprised. Where is their troops? No point in calling in the charge when the enemy is already... Ah, there we go. There's 2 units. We're too close not to order... There's actually 3 units. Charge straight into that. Oh, there's the rest of them. And they're moving away from us, so charge them as well. But you need to move back. Go after this unit. Meanwhile, these units manage their task, you manage your task. Get the guns up on a heightened position so they can actually be useful here. And then cavalry will be ordered to withdraw here as well. Might pull back and allow the enemy to march into the fire of my troops. Gotta make sure that as few of these natives get out of here alive as possible. Right, the guns are about ready. Should be deployed for canister work. It might be better to countercharge here. And I figure it's better to countercharge here as well. Just in case we need it. Canister should be ready. Right, the enemy is halting and trading fire with us. That means cavalry can sweep in from behind. You be ordered to turn and shoot those guys down. Right, the grenadiers are cutting them to pieces, which is good. Hit that general, hit that unit over there. You'll strike that unit and you'll strike this unit. And as the enemy is now pulling away or being attacked everywhere, I'm gonna order my troops to attack bayonets. This went a lot easier than I thought. It's just that you have to fight them in a certain manner. And we did. I feel like we did rather well here. Thing though is, could there be even more of them hiding somewhere? It's an interesting strategy from their part of hiding most of their army and then sending it up to us piecemeal. But here we go. We won the battle. And here's the result. Quite a difference in between this and the outer results. We ended up losing less than 400 men, while the enemy lost their entire force. From 2,300, they lost 2,100, leaving about 200 natives to scurry off the field afterwards. And I didn't even need the secondary army that arrived. Unfortunately though, part of their force survived. Henrik's lions can actually chase them down. Since they're less than 200, it should be an easy out result. So it's 400 versus 68. I'm sure the out result 35, 44. Could have been worse, I guess. We'll head that way. Right, so that was cleared. Now the way to this right here is going in between the mountains here, I feel like. Thing is though, they hide on the actual like battle map, but will they hide in the woods here? I could see myself easily lose an entire force due to an enemy ambush. Right, so there's a lot of forces. Oh yes, the other little force that I had of 4 units. We're gonna send them in somewhere. I can't remember which unit that lost these royal infantry regiments, but I was able to recruit more of them. Anyways, so they're here now as well. And I guess they could be posted as garrison force somewhere. Like say Philadelphia, pretty important place, or at least it's the biggest town in the area. Right, so it's going pretty darn well. We destroyed 1 army and conquered 2 territories. We'll wait for the end turn and then we'll have the enemy destroyed right here. And will cut the enemy completely off from the sea. Not that that mattered for them. International trade wasn't really a backbone of their economy. Their economy is the fact that they're able to have 80% tax rate. The state owns everything. And on that note, let's go ahead and end turn. See what the enemy does during the end turn. The enemy sallies forth at St. Augustine, Florida. They must have done it sneakily, like they always do, because I'm not able to gather reinforcements. In the attack, I was going to be able to get the reinforcements. In defense, no. We have 4,000 men against the enemy's 2,000. This is not the guard army, but I'm sure we'll manage just as well. Now this battle is not an interception, so they are actually sallying forth. So it makes sense that the fort is on the battlefield map. Oh, the cavalry unit just disappeared as the guns were setting up to shoot at him. I guess I'll fire at the corner here. I ordered this right flank to advance from our defensive positions to start with. It's the 2 grenadier regiments and then the Royal Infantry. Thing was, when I ordered them to attack around here, it actually gave the attack sound. So I think there's infantry hiding there. Let's go ahead and sniff out. The enemy is sallying forth. Well, this actually makes sense that the enemy is attacking through fog, and that's why sort of the reinforcement army didn't come to my aid. But for being a force that's sallying forth and try to break the siege, they're not very quick about it, are they? Right, we're noticing cavalry here. This cavalry unit has been spotted again. I think there's impassable terrain, and that's why we're kind of concentrating the troops. That could be bad, so I'm gonna order them to just line up a little bit before we try and cross and take this high point right here. Oh, they fired from concealed position. They actually killed quite a few people. I'm surprised. I'm gonna order 1 regiment to hold. Actually, I'll probably order these ones to hold as well. Right, so they killed a few. I am gonna kill a few as well, but I feel like the fact that we were standing on top of them actually meant that we were we kind of missed a lot of shots, didn't we? Right, now I want you to take that height. Meanwhile, the enemy's cavalry is bashing their heads on these strong lines troops. These are veteran troops from many wars in Europe. They're not going anywhere. And quickly the enemy is falling apart over there. We'll continue to advance like that. The thing here now is, if I continue to advance here, we'll actually meet the enemy sort of in the middle here, and we won't get a chance to shoot at them. So I think we should fall back. What we could do is we could bring these two and this around through the slopes here, which aren't as steep, and we'll be able to cut through there. Meanwhile, most of the enemy cavalry is now forced away, and I don't think we'll see them anytime soon. We can continue firing on them as they leave to make sure that we inflict as many casualties as possible on them while reducing our own. Right, the chief's bodyguard. It seems like they're bringing in a lot here, actually. I'm gonna order the guns to fall silent and then focus in cannon fire towards the hill instead. Right, we need to bring troops closer here. Come up like this. And I figure the cavalry can ride around the fort, strike the enemy from behind. Right, we're now starting to fire up onto the hill. Actually quite large units that we're seeing here, large formations. Okay, prepared to meet that unit. It's being fired up the flanks, losing tons of men, but we do have a hidden unit here. I'll order the guns to specifically focus in right around here. Oh, it's a cavalry unit even. That's crazy. I could see infantry unit hiding like that. Not a bloody cavalry unit. That close to us. Let's see, the grenadier unit's coming up. He's going to be able to aid. Are they going to start? Yeah, they're starting throwing tomahawks at us. First round of tomahawks didn't actually kill anyone. Well then, I feel confident enough to push those guys off. And I think we'll push the rest of these guys off. Oh, look at that. We have multiple units now coming up. Reorganize the troops a little bit in preparation for these. And a massive amount of troops coming out here. Oh, we ran into something over here. Hunters for the meat. You know what? These are horse grenadiers. There's tons of them coming out through the gate. If I'm able to set up fire grenades at the gate there. God damn it, it's the chief's bodyguard coming out first. And he dies. He dies, ladies and gentlemen. He dies. Alright, continue on through here. Oh, the horse grenadiers are holding them back. Actually, almost forcing them. The horse grenadiers are pushing right into that. I ordered my rest of the cavalry to set up on either side. Let's see if we can get the horse grenadiers to come out here. And then I can fire grenades at all these guys coming out. And meanwhile, I think perhaps the best course of action is actually to charge down these native troops, because clearly that's what's working. Horse grenadiers! God damn you, leave! I want you out of there. Like yesterday. I don't know why you insist. I'm gonna lose the possibility of using the unit as I was hoping, because they got sucked in there by their own bloody vanity. We need to crush as many of this as possible so that we don't have to fight this a second time. Right, they're coming out the gate. I'm gonna order the cavalry to attack. Hopefully we don't get sucked in again. Hopefully you rally. There's more coming out through the gate. It's a there's lots of charges going around here. Where did the cavalry go? They were sitting here. Like, I'm right on top of that position now. Also, the troops that are moving that way, there's no point. Go this way. Alright, so the cavalry is fighting here, but... Oh, the horse grenadiers are back. Good. See if you can kill off that. Or really any of the enemy's cavalry units that's trying coming out. So I'll get 40 grenades fired into that. Could potentially be worth it just to see them get absolutely destroyed. To fire in on my own cavalry, perhaps. Or perhaps not. Right, one of the units is... both units are withdrawing. Right. Fire at that gate and blow them to smithereens. Preferably before the enemy goes ahead and charges you. Yes! Come on. More of you. All of you. Just in time for one of the cavalry units to rally and come back. Right. That looked like it did pretty good. But I know that I can see a lot of grey horses from my cavalry though. Which is not great. What's going on with the rest? Not entirely sure. Can't really see that much through the fog. Order the troops around. Alright, the cavalry has kind of played its part. Now it's time for the infantry. Should probably claim one of the walls. Try and see if I can get troops inside. I think they might be coming out through this gate anyways, so maybe that is not necessary. First unit will charge. The other units will set up to line up here, and then we should prepare to cover this gate. So I'll move up the grenadiers, and we'll see about doing something similar. As soon as they come out through the gate, I throw a bunch of grenades at them. Right, get rid of that unit. It's been standing there long enough. Oh, we have an enemy unit being sighted again. Actually, line up and shoot them down. Meanwhile, I need to keep an eye on this. If they're about to come out... Oh, you broke! My charge didn't work. Let's see. They're about to come out. I could throw, and potentially they could concentrate grenades at the door and blow the door open. Let's make sure. Oh, the that's not actually good, because now we've got 3 units that are breaking. We need to get these troops up and prepare to hit again. And then we can have the 2 grenadiers facing that way. Alright. My troops did rally again. There's such a concentration of enemy units here. Perhaps the horse grenadiers can hit the enemy once again. Alright, looks like these guys are lining up. I'm ordering these 2 to retreat. So we've got... Let's see. See about getting the horse grenadiers around there. We are opening fire here. If they want to come out, we'll throw so many grenades on them. They don't know what hit them. And horse grenades will set up here. See about having them fire onto this. Let's advance. Get rid of that one. Probably see if we can't find a better spot to fire from. They've yet to try and come out the gate. They're dancing. I can hear them firing arrows. Oh, the horse grenadiers are about to get destroyed as a unit. I'll order them to withdraw. The enemy did well, but they overextended themselves with those attacks, and now getting destroyed. Meanwhile, 38, a little bit more, and we might actually be breaking the gate. Tons of fire from the enemy, but I'm ordering in my troops to bayonet charge them. This ends now. Come on, you. Get out the gate already. Focus your hand grenades on the enemy as they're about to leave. Maybe I have to go a little bit closer. Oh, they opened the gate. Just as I move the unit. Bloody hell. God damn it. Fight them. We'll order 2 units to deal with that, and then the rest was dealt with over there. Wonderful. And I figure these guys are about to break anytime soon now as well. Good. Try and force your way through the gatehouse. It's a unit of musketmen. So many hundreds of troops coming in, and there's only 65 of them holding the gate. Let's make sure that we don't fire into our own. Hopefully this is it. They don't have hidden troops somewhere that I need to find and destroy. Unfortunately, there's no flag to take. Anyways, it's clear that I won. By the strength meter, they have barely anything left, so I think it's safe to say that these last 50 men defending the gatehouse is what's left of the Cherokee force. And here's the result of the battle at St. Augustine, Florida. We lost 1,000 men. No surprise, there was quite a lot of cavalry men lost, and also we had a rout for some of our troops. So we lost close to 1,000 men. However, the entire enemy force were more or less wiped out. They only have 229. Some of those were the musketmen that put up a really brave defense of the gatehouse, and they held for a very long time against my grenadiers. So very commendable fight. Unfortunately though, you cannot hold a fort with just 229 men when there's 4,000 in the immediate army. I have another 3,000 on the way. 7,000 against 200? It's not gonna work, is it? In terms of kills, it's Swedish line infantry followed by Royal Infantry Regiment, Levy, and so on. Now when I think about it, did I even check the statistics from the battle with the named units, the membership unit? I don't think I did. I'll blame the fact that I'm still slightly cold, and you probably can hear that on my voice as well. So I'll blame it on that. Well, we saw who killed the most, didn't we? Really, and everyone's named, so they killed a lot. Right, but here's Florida, completely different matter, and I won this battle as well, which is really good. I have an opportunity to intercept. Oscar, the commander inside the fort, has an opportunity to intercept the enemy moving close. So we can kind of just see a little bit the numbers that we are working with here. So we've got 5,000 men within the fort, with another 5,000 in reinforcement. And we're facing off... now, it doesn't really say here how many are coming. It just says 146. That's the number that I can see, but I think that's a 7. So I think they have 7,000 men being ready to be brought up in reinforcements. So the enemy has about 10,000. There's about 10,000 natives against our 10,000. The thing for us though is that we've got a big bloody fort. We've got the fort of New France, Quebec, that is, guns and so on. So I think we'll hold, and I certainly have no interest in leaving the comfort of my fort. The siege was broken, and we also got a priest in Moldova. I would actually rather have priests in America, but I don't think I have that many, what's it called? I don't have many churches here. That perhaps should change. Not that there lives many people here, so a priest could quickly convert, just a handful of priests could quickly convert this to Protestantism. We have a lot of raids. Now that the enemy is really reeling from these constant defeats, they are doing guerrilla warfare and attacking settlements, outlying settlements and so on. Right. Florida, territory was seized. We have... Cork. We have school being built in Cork. That means that I should start thinking about leaving these areas. Let's see, Scotland is still having problems. Climate for Reform is increasing. They do have their own research center. I just saw that they actually had rebels being fought down. I do note here that they have built out their army, so they have at least a 20 stack, and looks like they've building ships as well, so that it's going a little bit better for them with the queen and the second. I perhaps should not have given them that many enlightenment technologies. 3 bottle man, a test of faith. And steady under fire, Corporal Golden Braids. We have a lot of people dying though. A pastor? Not that important. General though, Sven Thelin. Wait, that's the general of... It wasn't the guard army, but it was this army right here. I think Sven Thelin was one of the better generals I had. But he's now being replaced by Gabriel Söderström. And do we have another general? No, it's another pastor. I just said I need more priests in the new world. And then the priests in the new world. Or in the old world. Wait, what did I say? I want more priests in the new world. And then the priests in the old world started dying. Right, taking stock of the situation here. Florida is under my control. Now we do have some raiders. We have a raiding force here and we have a raiding force here. Now I've added on company troops to make sure that Louisiana doesn't fall. So that'll be fine. Which leaves these two forces to just go ahead and replenish. And then head for enemy territory. Where can we break through? So we can get through the pass here. But at the same time I kind of want to block this one as well. So this army will be heading this way through the Carolinas. While this army will then be heading through Florida. And then coming up this way to attack the territory. This place is perfectly under control. This territory was actually one of the ones that were actually making money. That is before the natives set fire to everything. And built all their own structures everywhere. Perhaps I should build... There's a few things I think that I can build a little bit on. Perhaps I should start taking a look at that. Although a lot of these territories are in the risk of being burnt down. I was focusing heavily on tobacco. Clearly, cotton is now rising in price. So we should have a little bit of cotton. Could be that when I'm taking over these areas, that or the Cherokee are taking over it, that cotton production overall in the world lowers, and that increases the price, and that's why we're seeing a price increase for that. We're ready to cross. Go ahead and force this one unit away. Heavy losses though, almost 1 for 1. Going directly through the woods, I don't think that's a good idea. So we'll be heading through this way. So now we're coming in, 4 armies coming in towards this area. Should be heading this way as well to attacking them. But really what I would like to see is if the thing is they've got such high tax rates. Wait, did they have like 80 last time we looked? Now they have 86. Somehow I need to reduce. If I can reduce the amount of money, I've kind of become a little bit obsessed of doing what the English did to me, to enemies. So if I can reduce that, I can have thousands of enemies starving to death without me having to do anything. Right, so we're moving these 4 towards this area. Now we have plenty of armies here as well that could start being moved out. But I want to block from them sort of slipping past and attacking me. So I'm going to move 1 army through here. Can you... Oh, you can't... You'll have to move this way to get at that. You can move through here. Oh, you can get quite far through here. And get quite close. I feel like this is dangerous though. Let's move up to that point. You're gonna move on this guy right here. So move to block this. Clearly you have lost troops. So you're the one... Well, actually you have lost... You have no cavalry. Oh yeah, because it's a guard army. And the cavalry is down there. Right. I was trying to find which army it is that needs these. troops. We have one enemy coming through here, which I don't like. I have armies ready to intercept him though. So I'll move the guard army to defend this bridge in New York. And then I can bring out the army from Boston and block this area right here. And then we do have a single colonial cavalry to defend Maine. No one wants Maine anyways. Perhaps these two armies can actually come out from here, attack this force, out-resolve that. We lost 857 men, they lost 1200, and forced them out into the middle of nowhere. I did notice there as I moved away from this area that they were quite unhappy. Perhaps something I should... Royal Observatory should be turned into a concert hall or whatever. Perhaps I should recruit my own natives. Although, what we've seen from the natives so far isn't super impressive. It's kind of... I talked them up in the beginning, but that's what the one battle I had with them that was off camera. But so far, on camera, they haven't been doing that well. Also, the naval side of this conflict is kind of over. So I don't really need that many ships here. So I wonder if I should take my navy now and just head back to Europe and see about completely strangling the Ottomans. Because the Ottomans... Wait... I asked a lot of allies to go to war with the Ottomans, and they are still at war with them. So they're still at war with Genoa, the Greeks, Württemberg, the Italian state Savoy, Westphalia, Plains tribes. Why are they at war with the Black Hills and pirates? Oh, there's an army stationed right across, and my navy wasn't called out to block. That I need to change, and we need to put the admiral in charge of this. Gunnar is in charge of the fleet, and now this army is complete. Good. Right. We'll continue on along this path until we're already starting to choose the new campaign. So we'll continue along this path until we're able to figure out the new campaign. And once that's done, it will be over as it is. The campaign will be over. I should... Oh, they are super unhappy here. I should just leave at this point. This army could very well be used in North America to turn the tide even further against the natives, and will allow Ireland to spawn as a nation, and hopefully slightly more successful in terms of managing the business than the Scottish. Although it's kind of my fault for giving them all the technologies to hamper them. Actually, the thing is, the problem isn't really the technology in the sense that they're losing money because of it. Because they're only receiving a penalty of 10 points for it. Really the problem is the unrest which has caused. Because they're I'm guessing an absolute monarch. So the way they would get around this is go to constitutional monarch or a republic. Why is the Portuguese trading company a republic? Portugal isn't a republic, is it? There's no republics. There's two republics, Genoa and the Portuguese trading company. Everyone else, more or less, is an absolute monarch. Right. with that said, I will go ahead and end this episode. So we did rather well, I'd say. We're advancing our troops on all sides. Native armies are getting crushed on all sides. And they are slowly but surely being hemmed in. And they're not really using... I guess they realize that they're not going to be able to use all their troops to really break into these forts and whatnot. So they would... Really what they should be doing is seeking land battles. But then they're not actually doing those land battles very well. Because they're sending the troops forward piecemeal and getting destroyed. But on that note, I think we'll go ahead and end the episode right here. It might be that I do an end turn or so in between episodes if the enemy does not go ahead and attack me. And I'll just strengthen my position even further. And we'll be ready in the next episode, perhaps, to wipe the floor with them. And finally, I'll say this, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!